What is up, Insaners, and welcome to another video of the Fantasy Premier League 2022-23 season. In this one, guys, we're going to break down some key dilemmas before the Game Week 22 deadline. So if you liked the video today, guys, make sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe to the Insanely Football YouTube channel for more FPL content. And with that, let's start today's video. Let's move on to the first dilemma, which is basically, should you play a wildcard this week? I think it's very team dependent. There's no right or wrong answer here. You'll have to look at your team and see if you have enough players from Man City, Man United and Arsenal. These are the three teams that are doubling in Game Week 22 and 23 combined. So if you do not have enough players from these teams, you absolutely go for the wildcard right now and take advantage of the double game weeks. Otherwise, if you can just manage with regular transfers, you definitely do that. Now, using the wildcard right now is not the ideal strategy on paper because you have a double game week coming in Game Week 29. So you can use it then and take advantage of the double game week. There's also a double game week in 34 and 37. So 37 is still a bit late, but you can use it in 33 and then set up a bench boost in 34. So that also is an option. But then again, these are just ideal strategies on paper, guys. You have to look at your team, you have to look at your players, and if you're not convinced and satisfied with majority of your team right now, do hit that wildcard button. Now let's move on to the second dilemma for this week. How many double game week 22 players are enough for our FPL teams? Now we know that Man United and Leeds have a double game week in Game Week 22. Now straight off, if you just don't want to take any risk, if you want to play it very safe, I think 3 Man United players should be enough to cover off the double game week in Game Week 22. Now in case if you want to take a bit of a risk, in case if you're doing some catch up, in case if you are basically trying to gain ground on your mini league rivals and all of that stuff, or you just want to play and simply have some fun, I think in that case you can go for one Leeds players. There are a lot of options, there are a lot of attackers from the Leeds team. I would not recommend their defenders because they're not really keeping any clean sheets. They are leaky at the back and I don't think so they will keep clean sheets in this double. So you can go for the attackers, you can go for Bamford if you have some additional money. In case if you want to play a 3-5-2 and if you want to save some money, then in that case you can go for Nonto. Now I don't think so Bamford would be a minute's risk. But then again, he's just coming back from an injury, so we don't know if he's going to start both games and even play majority minutes. So that's definitely a risk with Bamford. Nonto again, with the injury to Rodrigo, there could be some guaranteed minutes in there, but let's see what happens. Still, he's not really costing you a lot of money. And in case if you want to go a bit risky, you can definitely go for him. Otherwise, just go with your 3 Man United players and you should be absolutely fine. Now let's move on to the next question. Who are the best Cancelo replacements for this week? Now Cancelo made a shock exit from Man City and he's moved to Bayern Munich already in this transfer window. Now around 30% of managers still owned him when he moved to his new club and they are looking for a replacement. Now I think if you don't have Luke Shaw, you definitely go there. He's a great option. He has a double game week. He has a decent fixture in Game Week 24 as well. And I think there's a potential for a lot of FPL points in the upcoming game weeks. Now if you already have Shaw, then you can look at an Arsenal option. They're not a priority this week again, but then again, you can go for somebody like a Ben White. I still feel his minutes are pretty much secured. I know there are a lot of conversations happening around his minutes and maybe he's not nailed and all that stuff. Still, in any case, if you want to go absolutely safe, maybe go for Gabriel in that sort of a price point. He's slightly more priced than a White, so if you can't afford a Gabriel, basically just go for White and I think you should be fine. Now, in case if you're looking for a Newcastle defender to double up, let's say if you already have Trippier, and if you want to double up on Trippier, you can go for Botman, but then he blanks in Game Week 25, which is not ideal. And you'll possibly have to make some arrangements, maybe make a transfer to take Botman out at that point in time. So I don't think so getting Botman right now makes a lot of sense and you can avoid Botman. Now Man City options are also not a must, but in case if you're looking to replace Cancelo with a Man City option, you can go for Akanji or Nathan Ake. I think both are nailed options. They have got the most minutes since the FPL restart. And with players like Lewis, Walker, etc. not really getting 90 minutes every game and they are being rotated a lot, I think it's better to avoid Lewis and Walker and you can just go for one of Akanji and Ake. I don't think so. There's a lot to choose from between the two and you can just go for the pick that your gut says is gonna start most games because ultimately we're still at the mercy of Pep and his mind games and his rotation, which could absolutely backfire. So these are some alternatives to Cancelo. Now if you want to go absolutely cheap, you can go for Bueno as well from Wolves. He has a fixture in Game Week 25, so he's safeguarding that extra game for you, or he's not basically blanking in 25. There's also Tyrone Mings. If you are okay spending a little bit more money than a Bueno, I think he is also a good option. He's I think 4.3 million right now and he is also giving you a fixture in Game Week 25, which should be pretty good. Now, is it okay to play the triple captainship this week? Now, I think this is a very important discussion, a very popular discussion happening in the FPL community this week. I think the most obvious choice is Marcus Rashford. Now, a lot of people have their triple captainship available and they are thinking of using it on Marcus Rashford. I think if you want to go aggressive, if you want to go rank chasing, I think Rashford is a really good option right now. You're not doing anything wrong here by going with the Man United player as a triple captaincy option. I mean, who would have believed that that could have even happened last season? But I think Rashford in current form is absolutely brilliant, guys. He's been scoring a lot of goals. He has a great form going for him, especially at home. And I think with both fixtures against teams that aren't really great in defense, I think there's a lot of potential in Rashford. As I said earlier, if you want to go aggressive, you go Rashford this week. There's also a potential opportunity to go for Haaland next week, but one of the fixtures is against Arsenal, and Man City and Haaland, they haven't really looked in that great form, so dependence would be on that home game against Aston Villa. Now, don't get me wrong, he can absolutely smash it against Arsenal as well. So if you feel, or if you want to go a bit safer, if you feel that Haaland is the better asset and he has the better matchups, then you basically wait till game week 23 and then play the triple captainship in game week 23. Otherwise, just absolutely go for Rashford, guys. I don't think so Bruno Fernandes, Shaw, or any other options are worth discussing, especially for triple captaincy. I just feel Rashford is the one to go for. Now, you can also wait for future double game weeks to come and maybe you can play it in game week 29, game week 34, or even 37. But I just feel there are a lot of other chips that you can make use of and take better advantage of, specifically when we talk about this week's. You can play it in game week 37, but by that point, you don't know what's going to happen in the league. What is the game state? Whether players like Haaland, Rashford, KDB, Kane, or any other players are potential options at that point of time. There are a lot of unknowns that exist for that moment right now, guys, and I think it's better to just use it with the information that is available to you. I think 22 and 23 are really good options and you can take your pick. Now let's move on to the final dilemma that a lot of FPL managers have this week. Now, are Brighton players still worth getting in double game week 22? There's still a lot of buzz around the Brighton players, especially their attackers, and I think it's pretty much understandable. Now, they do have a confirmed blank game week in game week 25, and there's also a possibility of a blank game week in game week 28 because of their FA Cup involvement. So there could be potentially 2 blank game weeks for Brighton in the coming time. Now, if you want to absolutely attack the next 3 fixtures, because the next 3 games are really good for the Brighton assets, you can absolutely do that. In case if you've already decided to play a free hit in game week 25, then you should definitely get in a Brighton player this week, guys. I think there's a lot of potential. You can gain a lot of points, especially in the short term. And in any case, if your strategy is short term, if you're not looking or planning for the medium to long term, I think getting in Brighton players makes a lot of sense. Now, if you already have a lot of players from Man United, Newcastle, maybe even an Ivan Toney, then I think in that case, it'll be very difficult for you to field a proper playing 11, especially in game week 25. And in that case, I think you should avoid getting in a Brighton player. So it totally depends on your strategy, whether you're looking short term, long term, or whether you want to play a free hit in game week 25, or you just want to navigate that particular blank game week with regular transfers. So again, depends on your strategy, but if you're looking short term, definitely get Brighton players in your team. So guys, that'll be all from my side for this video. I hope I covered most of the important dilemmas for double game week 22. In case I've missed anything, guys, do let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to help you guys out. Do hit the like button if you enjoyed the video today, guys. Subscribe to the Insanely Football YouTube channel as well for more such FPL videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.